Welcome to the Symphony of Realities Podcast, boldly taking you where no podcast has gone before. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the conversation as you settle into your X, Y, and Z coordinates within time and space. Here are your hosts, Christopher Anatra and Sean Bond.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Symphony of Realities. I hope you settled into your X, Y, and Z coordinates within space and time. And remember, in the words of Van Halen, everything is in the now. Right now is everything. Remember that. Your power is in the now as your avatar renders you every zeptosecond into this reality. And of course, dream on, dream on. Dream until your dreams come true. My name is Christopher Anatra. You know me as a quantum businessman. I'm with my co-host, Sean Bond, and a very special guest we have today. Her name is Jemaa. Sean, how are you today?
Hey, I'm doing great. Sean Bond here. And yeah, we're bringing in the magic, bringing in the wonder, adventure, the Akashic mysteries answered today. Today, I'll read the bio of our lovely guest, Jemaa. Jemaa is one of the many galactic warrior wonder womens that is flying on invisible planes, bouncing off bullets, punch people straight through the chest. Her most important message is to remind you of your own inner warrior superpower. Jemaa has been able to see all energy fields since childhood. Jemaa knows things on a quantum level and grasps the concept that everything is happening simultaneously, everything, everywhere, all at once.
And Jemaa has unique gifts that can help you gain clarity in your life. We all have powers to conquer negativity. Jemaa can help you remember yours. She can help you create a timeline where you are happy, joyous, and super aligned with your inner powers. Jemaa, welcome to the show.
Yay! Thank you so much for having me, guys. I'm really happy to be here. I love you two so much. I listen to all your podcasts and they're all speaking my language. Yeah.
Awesome.
And
I was going to say, we're expecting to have like a show that goes off in all these different directions, you know, Akashic Records, dragons, you know, going all over the place. So again, welcome to the show. Thank
you. Excited to be here. Yeah, let's start hopping dimensions.
Yeah, you know what? Let's start with the Akashic Records.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, you know, that watch my videos know I'm always talking about the Akashic Records and reading Akashic Records, and I do sessions for people where I read the Akashic Records. You do sessions for people as well. How would you describe what are the Akashic Records?
Yeah, I feel like the Akashic Records are all that is space, that quantum space, where everything is happening all at once, and we can tap into that, like yourself, myself, I know Sean can, and receive information that has been in the past. I can, my specialty is tapping into someone's Akashic Records, either from past lives or this lifetime, around, I can see like their childhood, around traumas. I really like to help people clear their traumas from this life or past lives. And they're not really past lives, I guess, because it's all still happening. So I do feel when we do go into that space, and go visit in that, and I guess that's the Akashic Records, the quantum space, is just to be able to get in there, help heal things and bring it into the now. I guess I could have gone way off, but I'm like, stay on course. No. I'm getting a little diverted. Yeah, no. So much information starts coming in.
Yeah, that makes sense. And we were talking about before where sometimes when people will read someone's Akashic records, they'll ask to see a photo of them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I had been doing, like doing
Mm-hmm.
sessions, asked to see a photo. But I'm feeling like that's not really required. Like, how do you feel about that?
Yeah. So I get really distracted. So that's why even doing a Zoom is hard because I'm looking at you guys, I'm looking at myself. I'm like, oh my God. So, but I can like the hair. I'm like, okay, don't get distracted. I am able to read people better without even seeing what they look like or meeting them. So I just get a better read. I can do it like this and I can do it in person or on Zoom, but I just feel like I get maybe a quicker read and a better read, yeah, without photos. Because I can just quickly get into someone's energy field or any energy field, like even a house. I can feel if there's entities there and they need to get cleared. I can tap into ley lines, people's property, anything. The other dimensional spaces, especially. I can see if there's entities on people and they need to get cleared out. And I get a much better read, yeah, without pictures. It can help though, but yeah, so you're finding that you don't really need that. You can, the way that we can work, you can just quickly, and it is like a computer download is how I tell people. I can quickly go where I want to go, get the information, and boom, it's, I have the information. So
Yeah, it's almost like in the world of computers, you have like an IP address, so you can track back, a specific computer based upon its IP address. It's
right.
almost like we have our, signature frequency. And if you could tap into the signature frequency, someone doesn't even need to use their real name. They could actually make up a name and you could still, go
Well, I'll be
directly
able
to
to
it.
tell too if, yeah, exactly. And I can tell if people are lying and, yeah, um, or using a fake name. But the frequency, like you said, like I always wondered, why do we even have to have names? Like, because I've always, I guess, been able to read people's frequencies and then just recognize what they look like. So I don't really need names. That's why I don't, my name people mispronounce all the time, but I don't even correct them because I'm like, well, I'm just a frequency. Um, so it doesn't matter, but yeah.
Yeah, one of the things I say is that the name on your birth certificate
Mm.
actually resonates, if you were to use it, resonates as the same frequency as your DNA, as your
Mhm.
signature frequency. But if you can pick up on either, there you go.
Right. Yeah, yeah. So that's interesting. Yeah, and that is my given name, Jemaa. Yeah,
Very, very
How,
unique.
it is.
how,
Yeah.
how did you awaken into this, also get into this line of work and your abilities turn on?
Um, I'd say when I moved to Kauai 17 years ago, so I always tried to hide them. So I was always in the closet, wanted to be normal, had, girlfriends, but they would call me a witch. Oh, here's witchy Jemaa. Because I guess I would say things that, would be personal or I would know things. So I just kind of hid that until I moved to Kauai. And then I think someone gifted me a tarot deck. And then I bought a book, Tarot for Dummies. So I was like, well, this is fun. And then I just started helping friends, but I realized I didn't need the tarot deck. I was just helping, friends get through things by being able to tap into whatever situation was going on. And then actually back before kids, I mean, I've always been into like psychic books. So Sylvia Brown was like my first, like, oh my God, she's like amazing psychic. So I read her books. And then I found this book called In Search of the Energy Healing. So then I learned all about like energy healing in this book. So I guess that was before Kauai. So it was already trickling in. I had a very magical childhood, so maybe I was already downloaded with the elementals. I definitely have some fairy friends and dragon friends and so and Bigfoot. too. Love Bigfoot.
Are there Bigfoots in Hawaii?
There's not that I could tune in with on the island of Kauai. No. But where I'm living now, in the redwoods, yes, I communicate with them all the time.
Somebody should make that and then put on a costume and go surfing.
Yes.
Make that a thing. Bring them there.
Yes, I would love that. Surfing
Awesome.
Bigfoot for sure. Well, we're gonna do that. I love it. Even though I don't get in the ocean. I lived on Kauai for 17 years and maybe knee deep.
Oh yeah, why? What? You don't like hugging the sharks?
Well, it's not the sharks, it's the creature that will come from the depths of some other realm and come up and get me. I don't know. It's a fear of like some otherworldly, well, like Bigfoot, fairy, that realm, but I'm like, there's one deep down there, and
Well, like the
it'll come get
Caribbean
me.
thing, where as soon as you touch the ocean, they know where you are.
They know where I'm at. Like, yeah. It's the deep sea reptilian. I don't know. But yeah, so it's fun. So it's been definitely a journey of, and I love learning all different techniques, from everywhere, because I feel like there's not just one, and we can gather. Like I remember you said in one of your podcasts, like everybody has we all have a piece to the puzzle, and so if we can all like gather those pieces and then learn from each other's pieces of the puzzle too, it's really fun.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do. Like some people don't like us for bringing certain guests on, but it's like I'd rather everyone hear every perspective. We don't just endorse everyone. But we want everyone to hear it out and make their own opinion. It's not
right. Well, and that's the thing is, yeah. Well, that's the thing, and nobody is wrong we literally are all on our own personal timeline, and we are really creating our own reality and timeline, and we can take everybody's bits and pieces from there. We can witness their timeline, we can interact even on their timeline, but it's taking, for me, not going into like a belief system or saying that what I do is the way or true. So it's important to not do that and take, so say, oh yeah, I agree with what that person just said, and then no, I don't agree with the rest of it. So it is like, it's important to stay open so we don't get too trapped by the negative ego in the 3D space.
Yeah, the left brain imbalance, being too closed off and being in a prison, and then the right brain imbalance being too open and being susceptible to dogma.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, we can all find those like little gold nuggets of truth, even if it's someone that we think we might agree with, might not agree with. They might say something, right, trigger something else that awakens part of us to be like, oh my God, I never put those 2 points together.
Yes. So. Yeah. That's the activation of really why we're here. This, this game, or like the game of life of trying to figure out. I mean, ultimately, I think humans have been saying this forever. It truly is like love. And I think that's why we even come here and try to figure stuff out, is to truly be here through every single experience. Is that, and to the like frequency is expanding and expanding that frequency, but the higher vibrational frequency is love. Yeah. And it's fun.
So Jemaa, I wanted to ask your opinion. Do you think it's possible for anyone to read the Akashic Records? Because a lot of people are like, well, why can't I read the Akashic Records? Or what should I do if I want to try to read the records? Do you have any advice for people like that?
You're lazy. Do the walk.
Yes.
Do the work?
Do the walk.
Oh, the walk?
Great walk. Yeah.
The Great Way Walk. Yes, that we're all on. Well, first, I think if people are wondering how they can read the Akashic Records, then most likely they will be able to. because they're already thinking about that and why can't I? So then something will trigger them. Something will awaken within them where they'll find the right teacher. They'll find the right person to activate, because it's already there. So it's like in that quantum space, it's already within the knowledge of that person that is wanting to learn. I don't think everybody can if they're not, on that path, on the spiritual path. So, and that might just be their path. It's just very 3D, and they're not spiritual at all, or even thinking about Akashic Records.
Akashic Wuzi, yeah, the people don't even cut
Well,
off.
now we're getting into the NP, but the
NPC stuff.
players, yeah.
That's the way I used to be. Like when someone first mentioned the Akashic Records to me, I don't know what they were talking about. Like I literally never heard of the term before 2017. Like I never heard of Akashic Records, if you
Yeah.
can believe it.
Wow. Yeah.
Like what Buddha said, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. So
That's right.
Like you were saying, if you have a desire for it and you're just wondering, how could I learn a book? You could find a book, or and then all those things start to happen to get like an activation, so you can actually start to do that. So I think it's everyone that's watching this video now, it's open to you.
It
That's
is.
how I feel.
Yeah,
And if you're watching this video, that then you've already probably been tapping into the Akashic Records. Or have some sort of gift that you want to expand even further. Just frequencies also, like yours, Chris, and yours, Sean. Sometimes it doesn't even matter what we're talking about. It's through voice, it's through just the frequency is going to activate certain people's DNA that are watching this show right now, or who's going to watch it in 3 months, 6 months. It's all because it's happening right now. And so this signature will always be here, this frequency, and so let's just do some energy work right now, and whoever needs it out there, to activate some your own knowledge that you already have. Woo!
So what in your way of describing, because people have different flavors of description, how would you describe what the Akashic record is? And then we'll go into our kind of thing.
So it's the space of where all knowing is. So like I think we can tap into an all knowing of everything. So there's a collective of of our history. There's a collective consciousness of everything that has happened here on planet Earth, or in the different dimensional spaces. I feel I get kind of way out there. I'm like, are there planets out there? I don't know if we can actually get there from this. Like, I don't think this body can actually travel to the moon, but I think our consciousness goes into a different dimensional space, and we're able to go to Venus, or wherever we want to. I've been to the sun, so consciously I can go visit these places. But so the Akashic Records is like a record of everything that's happened here on planet Earth, and in the different dimensional spaces that we can go gather that information to help us in this now. And then I think there's like this collective. Now I'm going to get off subject because I was just like pondering this. So we have the ability to go in and get all the information we need. There's like we can be the all-knowing. Yet I know, but I really don't know anything until I'm not in this body anymore. So it's like it's fascinating. And then I was thinking of past lives too, of like people that were like Chris, you did a reading for me, and we went to like one of my Egyptian lifetimes. But I'm sure there's other people that feel like they were that Egyptian person as well. So it's like are those in different dimensional spaces, that in different timelines that we were that person, the same person, or was our collective able to experience that person at the same time in that timeline. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, you could have been part of a collective consciousness. You could
Yeah,
have been part of that person's guides and
yeah,
guardians, and
right.
you felt like really, really close to that person because you literally knew everything they were going through. So there could be
Yeah,
different reasons for that.
yeah. So I got
Sean,
off subject, but that's the Akashic
no,
record in
that's
a
actually
nutshell.
that's actually a good thing to talk about. So,
Hmm.
Sean, what would you add to that concept where there's multiple people that when you can look at their Akashic records, they might share the same,
Person.
person? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, this has been a problem that I come up with a lot of clients, and like it's like I remember being this person, and a lot of people come to me saying that I'm this and that. It's like, yeah, you kind of are. So most of the big movers and shakers on this planet aren't just like one spirit. Like I'm not just like one spirit either. Like I one spirit is major sovereign as I try to reclaim it all, but also the other spirits are reclaiming their sovereignty. So it's like, what does that mean? So it's like especially big movers and shakers like pharaohs, gods, goddesses, people that have changed the entire timeline. A lot of spirits are observing those people and they're like, I want to be in that game. And then if they have like time travel tech, or they're granted to that in consciousness time travel, which a lot of people on the higher realms and dimensions can do, they'll go back in time to their singularity of their 0 point of inception and be a part of that collective, and usually trade with them to like secure their spot and put a bunch of investment into it in energy and how much they add to the timeline. Not every time point is set in stone. Some things are based on a large amount of drama and how much effect it has and what's needed for the future, because there's a big equation to meet end goals. Then timelines that are reared off as alter timelines that like interfere with that but still have value. So they'll be part of a collective. I like to view it as a ring of onion layers, and going out from the center of the most invested spirits in the collective that put the most effort into it and the most influence sovereign, like the driver's seat of it. And there's usually one driver at any given point, but then a bunch of the inner rings will be delegated to for, oh, you're really good at remote viewing tech, like amplify my shit in that, so it's good. And my dreaming tech, so every time I dream, it's really good, or whatever. They're good at power, authority, charisma, and things that are needed in the timeline, and it goes outward. And this is an interesting system, and there's different DNA tech for allowing more of that structure. And like some of the big shakers in his, like Joshua Emmanuel, kind of the Jesus figure, or whatever you want to go. It is a collective of everything. So
Right. Yeah.
being a source fractal, that's also implied as that is the thing that had taken parts of themselves and created everything. And there are beings that also want to demonstrate that as they earn it, going back in their spirit tree branch and integrating more of the tree and becoming one with it all. So there's a lot of complications, and it's like, what is past lives? What is individuality? What is our own determined free will and territory? Well, there, and you can like also make that part of the equation and coming into oneness with unity, but there still be where you started and what you're branching off of being like part of that individuality, because everything is supposed to have free will, but then there's the dark that takes free will away, and then they're also
No.
force possessed into attached to people or whatever. That's also weird to view, but
Yeah. Well, that's why I wonder, like, do we really have free will? Because everyone has so many programs that loop. Like we get stuck in these loops, and it's really hard to break free from them.
Ooh, what do you know about loops? We've been working on loops.
I've been working on loops because it's like, well, there's all sorts of different kinds of loops. So there's the personal, just just personal loops. Well, there's the personal trauma loops, which I feel like I've cleared those out of my life. But then there's just everyday loops. It's like, really, I'm doing this again, or yeah. And then there's the loops of the deja vu loops. So I've been lately having like full day deja vus, like, oh my God, not just like, oh, deja vu, and then it passes. I'm like, I've done this whole entire day before. So it's getting fascinating. But yeah, there's a few loops I would like to break free from, and it's hard. So, but it's fun too, because that's why we're here to yeah.
Chris, tell us about the loops.
Yeah, time loops.
The
Yeah.
loops.
So
Yes,
I'm actually going to be I have to put it together, but I have to do some editing. A video about the whole concept of time loops, because I feel that we have been looping this. There's different kinds of loops. Each of us have been looping this life multiple times, trying to get it right. And now we're literally on the final time loop. Like, I feel this is the last time loop. So for me, some people could have been looping thousands of times. For me, I'm on my 333rd time loop.
Okay.
So 3 + 3 + 3 is 9, and 9 is usually a number that represents completion. And then I was associating that with a Mandela effect, of all things, related to this cartoon series called the Looney Tunes, where a lot of people remember being Looney Tunes, like a cartoon.
I'm in that age range, yeah.
Okay, so a lot of people, so maybe you remember it being spelled TOONS.
It was, okay, no question.
Okay, do you know what it is now?
Yeah, it's tune So, because I just thought, this is ridiculous. People are getting stuff wrong. It's not TUNE. So things have just been lost in the, I don't know. So, and then I didn't give it much thought until I came across your videos. But yes, tunes, TUNES. Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the things I'm finding is that when you tune into a Mandela effect, is that you can find a hidden meaning. And sometimes it's the way the word sounds. It's like the frequency of the word. So tune, TOON, and tune, TUNE, it sounds the same, right? But they have different meanings. So TUNE means that you've like tuned a piano. You've got it so it's now playing perfectly. Or you've tuned into a specific frequency for a radio station. So, and then the words to the Looney Tunes song, like Overture, Curtain Nights, or This Is It, We'll Hit the Heights, and oh, what heights we'll hit. On with the show, this is it. So we've had all these dress rehearsals, and now we've finally tuned our part. So now this is the time we have to wake up. And if we haven't woken up yet, I don't know what to say. Some people they're still in their awakening process. But so for me, like, I like to connect those dots, and I connected that one to the Looney Tunes. So and time loops. And then some people throughout history I've tuned into that they actually had time loops, but they didn't have amnesia. They remembered like the mistake that they made. They get to a certain point, they would die. And then it's like a checkpoint in a video game. And then they would go back to a certain point and then relive that part again to try to get it right. And they would keep doing that and keep advancing, like literally like a video game. But they had the ability, they could remember the mistakes that they just made. And amazing. So I could talk a lot about this, but time
I love it.
Are crazy. Yeah.
Well, well, and I do feel like you're right with this being the last loop. My guides had told me years ago, maybe like 10 years ago. I remember I was like in the parking lot on Kauai of our little local bakery, and I was having a conversation with someone, and we were just excited about life. And I was like, there's nothing like, or I didn't say, but the channeled through, this hasn't happened in the history of planet Earth, which I've been hearing a lot lately. So I'm like, yay, we're on the right path of like this great awakening. It's a consciousness shift, because there's enough of us now where it is this awakening. It is the last loop. And it actually hasn't happened in the history of planet Earth. Is what rings true for me, whatever information that was. and that we have been getting information through like these through the shows. Like I've been watching shows and movies my whole life, and I have this voice that comes in and talks to me, and sometimes it's annoying because I have arguments and but anyway, so I'm like, no, just leave me alone right now. But they've always said like what you're watching right now is real. And now I know what that voice was talking about, because I'm like, yeah, okay. Because I didn't really know, because I don't disclose like the whole truth. They just give me bits and, little clues. But it's this time right now, like that we're all going through. They didn't disclose that it was going to look really, crazy in the last 4 years. That wasn't disclosed. I actually did think it was going to be rainbows and unicorns. Um, but it's good. It had to be this way. The unfolding. Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like that. Like people talk about the bifurcation of the timelines, like the timeline splitting,
Yeah.
the end of the ages, and then going to the age of truth or the golden age or down to the age of chaos. Seems like that age of chaos tried to reach back up to us in 2020 and try to drag us down. And it did, but now we're like separating again. So
We are.
and I feel that too with like all these energies coming in.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you a question. And anyone in the audience that's watching this too, comment in if this has happened to you. But for me, it's been happening since the end of March. And I'm going to give a date, 3/23/23, which I feel was an important date. But in the middle of the night or in the early morning, I'll get a zzz, zzz in my head. And I'm like, what is going on? And it'll just go off a few times for a few seconds each. But it's almost like I could feel that some kind of energy that's like surging. I don't know. Have you felt anything like that, Jemaa, or anything unusual with the energies?
I just feel it in my whole body. And it's not any particular time of the day or night. I just can feel it. My ears do ring, sometimes louder than other times. And I can just, no, it's definitely intense energies. Like right now, it feels very expanded, and it's just coming in fast. And everyone's gifts are coming on board too, so I can feel that in the collective. Like it's just like whoa, and things are manifesting really fast as well. So that's where I know the energy is really intense too. Of like you think of something and then there it is, or like I've been doing this nonstop. I don't know for you, like, I'll think of a word at the exact same time. I'll be milling stuff through and I'll have a word come in that I'm going to use, and it's like on the radio and it says it at the same time. That's happened now, like on podcasts that I'm listening to. I'll say the exact same words, but in a different context, not, but it's in that space, which is fascinating to me.
Yeah, it's almost like you're ahead of, like you're a millisecond or so ahead of time or something like that. Because I've noticed the same thing too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done like meditations. Yeah, with people, and the person will say, okay, now think about your eyelashes or something random. And I'll be like, oh my God, I was just thinking about my eyelashes. I
Yes.
didn't hear that before. So
Like that kind of stuff is happening. So it's really fun. So pay attention, everybody out there, with all these, that's magical synchronicities. Like even though we're going into, so I'm trying to really ground in more of, because it is getting, even though I love AI and we can go in and I say that because I feel there's a very good, beautiful energy around the original AI, I guess. And so, but we can go, any AI that's been programmed negative, we can go in and reprogram it. And so even though, but we keep getting more and more into an AI computer based kind of way of thinking and reality. But my guides keep saying, just keep getting grounded into nature, keep remembering the magic. So I keep actually going back to like when I was born in the 70s, and that was a very simple, very nature like, very I don't know, slower time. So I keep bringing that into because it is magical. So anyways, I don't know why I got off on that, but just to remember the beauty and magic here that we're living in as well.
Yeah. Magic mirror on the wall. It used to be mirror, mirror on the wall, and now it's
Okay, all of them. I'm in your generation. Is it generational? Because I'm like, Berenstein Bears, no way, nope, I'm so mad about that. And yeah, magic mirror on, no, mirror on the wall, give me, yeah, don't. And then there were so many.
There's so many.
There's so many.
There's over 10,000.
Yeah, there's over 10,000. Yeah,
so
it's crazy.
They're not stopping.
And they're not stopping. So, yeah, but that is, so we're so this is what I've also feel too, is like and everybody watching your podcast, our star seeds are galactic beings. So like I say, I'm a galactic Wonder Woman, because we do have these gifts that we're coming in with, and grounding in, like you said earlier, the bifurcation of the timelines. There's a 3D matrix timeline that we've been looping in. And that's why this is the last loop for us, because we're like, oh no, we want to be over on the original timeline that I feel from a long time ago. That's what we had. And it wasn't as dark and weird and distorted. So we're here as starseeds to ground in that original timeline, or and then be a conductor also, or a bridge between those timelines, and bring the bring as much the conscious beings that want to be in the original timeline again, and break free from that last loop, because that just needs to be done. That I don't like this. I don't like the loop in 3D. So it's like breaking that up, and let's get over into our more higher vibrational frequency timeline.
Find that the negative loops that aren't like a positive in like restarting to make it right type of effect are still stolen abilities by the light, because the dark doesn't earn anything, they steal it.
Right.
It's like the solution is finding out how they stole the authority from who, and undoing that. Also, if it's a learning lesson, it has multiple people in it and stealing a lot of energy to maintain itself, then it's about like usually the constructs that are stolen still have some basic programming from their original purpose in use, so that they'll still respond to overcoming a situation into where the loop isn't needed anymore. If it is, even if it's negatively programmed, there's like always a backdoor out of it.
Right.
But yeah, sometimes we gotta do a little bit more work to and unlock more abilities to release these off of us. Things like stolen authority, Earth, or different deities, or the galactic prime creator, or some of the bigger loops authorities that have been stolen.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them are being used to harvest for more resources, and keep the dark chess player situation going, to keep up with the light's expansion, and in the dark's harvesting ability to meet that.
Right. Yeah, no, it's like there's so much around that. Like it's fast, because I'll go, and it is that like because I can go in and read all the dark stuff and what's happening, and then but that's how we break free from it, is like we just don't give it attention, and then I can expand out, and then I get in a really trippy space of like is that really, who are those dark forces? Is it us? At some point, is it all happening like that? Do we, because ultimately on this way out there expanded, we are all one from source. And so then that's going into that neutral place. So there isn't an outside them and me. It's all me, to not have that darkness, enter into my field, I guess. So it gets really, it's like, it's hard to even put into words, like when I go way out, way out there. Yeah.
So before we get off the Akashic stuff, how did you get your library card?
I think God, we were like on my friend and his girlfriend. We were sitting on a just beautiful sunny day, and it was like on my lawn and on the island on Kauai when I lived over there, and we were downloading stuff, and they were asking me questions, and we were going back and forth, and then she was like, you're an Akashic librarian. That's what you are. So that's when I got my library card. That was probably about maybe 6 years ago. And I was like, I like that. Okay. I'm using that.
You already earned the authority in other lives.
Oh, maybe. Gosh, because I feel like I
You get
really have,
strong foundation.
yes, I feel like I haven't really had very many lives here. Maybe there was my Egyptian life, definitely remember my Lemurian life. So those two lives. I remember another life with I was like a lighthouse keeper's wife, very simple life. But and then I have but you did my reading, Chris, and so I've had many more than that, but I feel like a very new like starseed that has heard the call to come and like really dismantle the 3D matrix, and that. So but I have friends that have just been here over and over and over, enduring just the darkness and trauma, and those are like the real warriors too. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I probably had, it may be my Egyptian life. I was a more oracle librarian, but it was stone.
You know, it's interesting too, like talking about like the Akashic librarians, there's the Akashic guardians, the Akashic teachers, the Akashic lords, the Akashic masters. One time I got a vision of the Akashic guardians, and they were all female, and they were all beautiful, and they had swords, and
Oh,
they were
sword.
dressed like Alice in Wonderland, like the blue thing that she wore.
Yeah.
And they had angel wings, and I'm like, really? I can't make this up.
Who is your
Yeah, and that
How
was
far does the rabbit hole go?
I know it's the deep
Chris?
rabbit hole with that
Oh.
one. And
I
they
love that though.
and they were guarding this big spiral marble staircase that went to another level of the records, and I wanted to go up there. And this is when I was first beginning to like learn how to read them, and they were like, no, not yet. But then one of them winked at me, so I'm like, oh, okay, at least I have potential someday. But not
I love it.
yeah.
Oh, that is great. Well, it's funny because I actually feel I carry an invisible sword with me. It's my sword of light. It's just we have all these tools we can, use, which I'm a lot in the other dimensions. So I use my sword a lot in in those dimensions. But that reminds me of a dream I had, because I think I was shown the Akashic record space years and years ago. And it was like pillars. It was real white. And then there was these different buildings. And then I was walked into one of those buildings, and there was someone laying on the table just getting a major healing from source. And it was just beautiful. But I knew I was in the Akashic record. They were showing me all around on that vibrational space place. So yeah. And I didn't know there was all the different Akashic record. I didn't know there was guardians, librarians. That was something I thought she just made up.
Yeah, no, they're all there. They're all the different levels in the hierarchy of the Akashic records. Or what I
Okay.
call the script database.
Okay.
You come into this life, you've got your script name on your birth certificate, and then you have the character that you're going to play. Because maybe on another level, we're entertainment for beings that are watching us. And then how are our lines fed to us? Is it completely free will? Is it something, do we have limited free will? Do we gain more free will when we can go achieve certain levels?
Right.
So there's a lot that could be said about like how this reality works.
Well, that's what no, for sure. Because another experience, it's like, well, who really is in charge, and who is the overseers? There's just been a couple of times, but one time really sticks out. I was driving at night. I think I may have talked to you about this, but this is so fascinating. I was driving, and so there's a voice that comes in and says, but it was really needed to get the message to me, and it was loud and clear. I hardly ever hear audio, but it was, Jemaa, slow down. And I was already going the speed limit. I wasn't even going that fast. So I slowed way. I'm like, okay, geez, like, don't yell at me. So I slowed way down like 2 miles an hour. And then I was about to go around a corner, and maybe they were drunk or whatever, but they were completely in my lane, speeding so fast. And then they had to swerve back into their lane. And if I was going the speed, we would have head-on collisioned. So that's like, yeah, who is in charge? Who was that? Like, like like oversoul, like what it's our higher self. I mean, that's what I call it the voice.
There's people talking about like, oh, what's a good predictive model for what will happen? What's the most entertaining timeline? Going along with that is like why some people call it clown world or whatever. It's like,
Yeah,
it's like most funny, most entertaining, most unexpected, most thrilling, and then it's like getting to more of a manager point of perspective. Oh, that'd be a boring movie. We can't do that. They have to get emotionally involved. They gotta like go,
yeah, no,
trials.
totally.
Great journey.
That's why you have to laugh. We have to laugh a lot. So it's like joke. I'll laugh a lot about stuff, not, hopefully not inappropriately, but, I really try to lighten up. So when I am in like, sessions, that's, it's always bringing in, that joy, that fun, but in a way that helps, clear stuff, out of people's, energy field, that isn't serving them in this now. So yeah, exciting stuff. It's it really is, like, and there's so much to do here on planet Earth to activate what we need to activate with. Like right now I just started an herbal class, another one. So I'm really into healing with herbs, healing with energy, healing with crystals. So it's a lot of fun stuff happening.
Fine with the Akashic record. It is everywhere and everything, but like it's very well defended and like a clearance space system. So there's everything records it, everything that happens around it, fractals of light, including going into the crystals, that which were definitely record everything, and then that makes part of the whole concept of what's it called, where God, my brain for some reason, psychometry, is that where
Yeah, psychometry.
Read into objects by like feeling into it. I've been getting better at that ability just by like feeling into it and then meditating and then detaching from all my other senses, and then I start to feel a residual frequency of what happened around it. And there's including like the things in my room, because I've been reading that, and then it was like, oh, there's access denied for different times. I also do a projection to stop things from becoming aware of me. So I'm like, oh, okay, but I'm allowed to read it, but others can't. Interesting. Just like different layers, and definitely authority, because so those out there, you have to do the inner work. You got to clear yourself. You got to do your shadow work. You got to let go of the weights, the negative emotions, and clear in the knowingness field of the heart, so that you can pick up more data and translate, empathically feel into it. And then that like expands into all the senses combining together with the heart expansion, and then encompassing that heart field expansion around objects, people, places, things, and then gaining access, usually asking permission. Unless you're like at a high level, then it's like you're kind of earned that, but still it's nice to ask.
It is. Yeah.
And polite. But yeah, if there are demons attached, if you go into a haunted place, if it gets challenged, things want to steal that ability, it like will protect itself and then start to shut down. So there's like an aspect to resiliency too, and being able to defend it. And if you can't do that, then the Akashic record will close off to you.
Mm,
Everyone can in
right.
potential, but most people don't, because they don't even want to get past grade 7 in spirituality,
Mm.
because of fear or whatever, the dogmas and the places they've been born,
Well,
unfortunately.
that's exactly that. Yeah, like, and what kind of child? Usually, it stems from the childhood experiences that really shape us to what we're doing right here and right now. But that's true. So we can get permission to go in, and that's what I usually do is when I sit down with someone and say, okay, let's. I always clear my energy field, and then their energy field. And so when I'm doing a session, I'm always doing energy work. It's just automatic when so I go into someone, I'll say, okay, I'm going to come work with your energy right now. And we're going to, do some clearing. We're going to cut lineage cords, which usually are, and they're not all of them are demons. Like I'll say lower energy vibrational frequencies that are of lineage that just doesn't serve that person um anymore. It's bringing in sadness because of something that happened in another time and space. So so we go in and clear that. um we can do all the
That's
work.
a nice name. I call them little bastards. No, I'm just kidding.
Little
Yeah,
bastard.
I love them too.
You're great,
Yeah.
great, 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 great
You're
grandmother
such a good little
is
bastard.
a bitch. She's like, really want you to do it this way, but we're not doing it that. Yeah. Yeah. So we could go in and we can do all this assisting and give tools and help clear, but it's ultimately up to the self. So if someone is open, is like, yes, I really want to clear that, but then, a few days later, they go right back into an old pattern. It's just going to bring that cord back. So
Yeah.
person has to really, really know and want it to change. And really it's raising the frequency, their own frequency when we go do that.
Yeah,
And
have patterns and work on resiliency so it doesn't go just back down from
yeah,
working on too.
or invite the demon back in, or the, great 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 grandmother, or, so, and I've worked with all of that. The demons don't get too happy with me. But I
Give them a spanking.
I do. No, I get my sword out and you guys are,
That's a bit more than a spanking, but
yeah.
yeah.
You guys are loud here. Move along. But yeah, so that's it's powerful stuff because it does work. And it's and doing the inner work really is important, and cutting all those cords that aren't, and getting into a space of your own true frequency. And we don't have to, like, it's not as hard as it seems. There's forgiveness that needs to happen when we're, it's if
Right.
we what I try to do is help people realize that their trauma, their identity isn't where what the traumas were, because a lot of people, that's what's happening, is they're connecting who they are to those experiences. And so I try to help people into realizing that, you know they were just experiences. And so
Yeah,
um
not the true self. No,
it's not the true self, right? It's not the true, we're all unconditional love, and these higher vibrational beings, uh infinite souls. We're so many different names that came from source or God.
So were you born like this, or did you have like a catalyst events of some type?
Well, I have a memory of being on a spaceship and like getting downloads of what was needed for to be human, and what I was going to be doing in this life. And so and then getting plopped right into this body at birth. It's fascinating. So I guess, I did come in agreeing to do what I'm doing. It's hard though. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I agreed with everything. Um to try to be a human and then integrate the spiritual. It's challenging.
Do you know the species on the spaceship? Do you know the origin? If even if you want to say, you don't have to say, but
I feel very connected with the Palladians. So if I was to name, a certain time and space, dimensional, galaxy, I feel very Palladi, very Lemurian. So that's what it feels like. They're these light beings that were, and I didn't know what galactic was, but I remember, and I know a lot of us have had this experience like in our teens or, just when it's hard, and I would look up and go, I want to come home. I don't want to do this anymore. And I had no idea who I was talking to but definitely it was my galactic family, who I'm still in contact with. Yeah. So I'm always in communication with them, my higher self. So I'm probably on that ship as well. My other, my higher self.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel that like the Earth has already like ascended, like
Mhm.
like
Yeah, I feel that.
whether it was the December or March or between this time period, end of 2022, beginning of 2023, humans are like still need to catch up, right? But
Mhm.
there's all this like galactic energy coming in as well. Like I feel like Earth was the last one to finally, last of the planets to reach this level. And now all the planets are at a certain level. So now the whole Milky Way galaxy. So people talk about, hey, we're going galactic now. I actually think we are getting like a lot of the energies that are coming in are all like from the central sun, the
Mhm.
universal central sun. So there's all kinds of, I was saying before, all kinds of crazy energies. So
Yeah.
ascension symptoms,
And so, oh man, the ascension symptoms. Yeah. Like, yeah, the forgetfulness.
exhaustion,
Exhaustion. Oh my goodness.
blurry eyes,
But well, that's I'm
diarrhea. Like seriously, it's all that's all
no.
this energy is clearing from us.
Well, it is, and well, it's because our frequency is raising, so it's happening at such a fast speed, that yeah, our bodies are really trying to keep up with it. It's been happening for a long time, and it's going to continue. That's why it's really important, to not drink, not do any substances, that's
Absolutely.
because it really, we just don't need them anymore. I feel.
Have a good clean diet,
Hmm.
hug a tree. Like literally when you hug a tree, you're
Yes,
grounding and you're putting that energy, your energy into the matrix, and the
love
tree
it.
is like exchanging energy with you. So
I hug so many out here, yeah.
have you, yeah, redwoods, right?
I'm in the redwoods and, like, they're my family because I grew up not too far from here, and I used to just go out for all day for hours and make my own trails by myself. I mean, I was only, like, 6 or 7. All day I'd be gone, like, in rivers and creeks and making my own, and it's the same trees because it's their roots, so it's like they are my family. They took care of me when I was little, for sure. But yeah, it is important to get in nature. I know it's like everyone says, go get in nature. Well, but it's true.
It's true.
It's
What do you think of that? This has been happening with the forest fires. And I just found out that there's ones going on in the West Coast about the same time too, and there's videos of people starting it.
yeah. So yep, there's some definitely bad players happening. So and that's in that 3D
It's
timeline.
climate change.
It's yeah.
Got to give us the money, the ESG.
That's right. Yeah. So there's this whole control 3D matrix that's happening. Yes, there's weather modification. So this is where I really try to separate my timeline and reality from that reality. So I can see that it's happening. I can let people be aware, like, hey, there's chemtrails happening, like, and so they can change their so if we can raise people's frequency out of what's happening, like those fires, definitely all the fires that have been happening in the last couple of years might be controversial, but are man-made. by weaponry.
Routes too.
And everything is modified. There's no natural weather happening in that 3D space, which can affect my space. When it rains, I'm like, okay. Or, we had in these like from the fires where I'm at, the big rains came during the winter, lots more trees fell than I'd ever seen. I grew up here. And so there's a lot of, it's really sad. I mean, I cry, when I go out into the woods and I see a tree down, I'm like, I'm so sorry. It's like really sad.
But yeah, I feel the pain of it when
Yeah.
when I was super sensitive. A
Yeah.
little less sensitive, but still very sensitive. Still feel it, but
Yeah.
I kind of heal when it is.
Yeah. So that is, painful. But we have to get our that's why it's so important for us to be teaching this and telling people to, and I'm so so to move their consciousness from the 3D to the 5D space and above, or whatever you want to put a name on it. It's like, there's a movie that I want everybody to go watch. It's the Celestine Prophecy. It was the book a long time ago. I read it once. But the movie's different. It's just really, really good that something happens. It like activates it just activates this memory to like really raise your vibrational space to where that negative, darker stuff isn't even happening in your space. So that's why it's so important that so how many of us do know what's going on? And so we just have to not believe that it's happening. And I'm not an ostrich or putting my head in the sand, but it's powerful work to not give it any attention. So that's what I know my job is. And then you have the people that are on the front lines actually fighting the dark, all the dark stuff that's happening. But I know mine is to just keep raising the frequency, and knowing that that's not powerful, and we are more powerful to not have that dark stuff happening, and then pretty much have it like dissolve, and then we're in this higher frequency.
Interesting. My add-on to that would be amplify the against the weather. I mean, like, yeah, of course, weather modification. Like, you can even buy a nice sunny day for a wedding. And then the cloud seeding programs and stuff. But you would tune into an area, the authorities in the weather of the area. Usually there's like a dark force trying to steal authority from those. If you help purify them and reclaim their authority, it goes back to them, and then you can start up initiation of clouds and rain in an area to come in and join forces with a bunch of the collective to help bring their energy towards manifesting that. There's a direct correlation between the weather and the consciousness below it, and emotional changes that people have. So we can all do like rain dances to stop it. Then there's ceremonies and baths people can do towards that. It can go along with like releasing sadness too. If you have anger about it, which I'd understand, people have anger about it. It's about letting it out, combining with love and pointing it towards the correct target, because most people don't know where to point their target at. Like, who caused this? Is it just random? And like, likely not. No. I read the thing that the preferred target for this would be the secret controllers of Canada and the US, that are like, they pretend they own everyone, and just like, oh, we do whatever we want and we puppet everything. And it's more about uniting in the collective before you send it at them, because they got like a big dark defense thing going on. So it has to be a big unity chess move in collapsing and resolving their evil, and then getting them to where they realize they shouldn't be doing that anymore. Like Pavlov's dog. You train psychopaths get
Mm,
out of.
right. Well, I'm glad you mentioned, yeah, because I do go in and weather modify myself. So I will go in and do exactly what you it said. And so I'll go consciously into a storm that's happening and say, I don't want you to be, I don't want you to wreak havoc like maybe you were programmed to. Um,
And your strategy is good too. I'd say it's hard to detach fully from this reality. So you wanna see where it is as it is, and then get the big representation of the bubble, or how many attachments that
mhm,
situation as it occurs is attached to you, and then every individual. And that also goes into quantum jumping, where
mhm,
you detach yourself from this timeline to the one you see shine and define as preferred, and you start to let go and pulse from the heart, and surround that big, let's say for this one it'd be around the size of the galaxy, big bubble of attachment, and pushing it out, getting it smaller and smaller, and pushing it away from the collective to and their agreement to that, until where it fades. And it, like, you know how when you're just trying to start a fire and it just doesn't really start for some reason, or other fires, they just start like and they get really rapid, or uh like when a candle it burns like all the time some nights, like no problem, or like it burns, and then after you leave it alone for a few minutes it just goes out.
yeah.
There's weird physics with that type of thing, but there's fire has a consciousness, and
Yeah.
especially when you purify it of in infecting negative consciousness,
Mhm.
and then make that fire sacred, then you can like start detaching that, and then bring in the shining light of protect a protected space, the trees unite together, the people and us as caretakers, to bring the storm that rains down on that, and then the brave individuals that will be able to be in the right place at the right time to stop the forest fire from expanding.
Right. Yeah. So that's beautiful. And that is your bit you're explaining, that's just how powerful we are. We're more powerful than any harp, man-made anything. And that's what we're all honing in on. And that's why it's important to clear um everything as our human self, so we can align with source and truly know the power that we have.
And you're alluding to the belief placebo effect engine and the power it has in the faith,
Right.
and
That's
there's
it.
a representation inside of us that is the forest
Right.
fire. And we
Yeah.
find that, and then we resolve that in ourselves.
Yes. And I've always wanted to get a t-shirt that says everything is a placebo. Everything.
Hmm.
Even even healthy even the herbs that I take, even everything that we is a placebo, and they've already proven that scientifically with the placebo pills, right? So that's how powerful we are. We don't need anything. Although it's fun to take, make my teas and my herbs and then help people use those tools, but eventually we want to get to a point where we just can do it. Yeah. It's I love it. It's so and it's like you said, getting and people watching, like, start practicing that in, if you hear of a storm coming in, go in and dismantle it. Because even one person, I mean, it's of course better with the collective, but even just one going in and being able to reprogram that storm coming in, or the fires, calm the fires down. Um,
Mm.
it's still really powerful.
So when people reach out for you for session or healing, what kind of healings do you do for them that they can expect when they contact you?
Um, I usually will, by the end of a session, will have helped them raise their frequency and just feel better. So I can always hear it in someone's voice in the beginning of a session, and then the elevated happiness at the end of a session. So some are simple of like, oh, I have a job change and I need to know where to go next, and or what is my purpose, right? That's what you guys said, that you get a lot of those questions. I do too. And then some I'll tackle deeper emotional stuff, but I do a lot of energy work, and I like to, um, and I'm always very clear what kind of energy work we're doing throughout the session, so I can help them be able to do it themselves. So I give techniques on how they can clear if they have old patterns or thoughts that are coming in, so I can help them quickly clear it. If, like, 3 days from that session, they're like, oh no, those thoughts are coming in, I'm feeling low again. So I give them tools to kind of reprogram the loop, or I help them reprogram the thoughts into, that's why I want to create joyous, and what timeline do you want to be on. So and we want to be on the original timeline, the high frequency timeline, and we want to clear our stuff as fast as we can. So that's basically, in a nutshell, what I do in a session. And herbs, I bring, if someone's wanting to work with herbs and heal through those, then I'll tune in and see what herbs they need.
Sprinkle them and throw them at the
Sprinkle
terrain and like, yeah.
You are healed now. Yes.
So what's an example of like how herbs you'd recommend for maybe a certain situation you've come across? Like what's a real life example of how certain kinds of herbs can help someone?
Let's see. Well, just like detoxing the body. So there's like detox teas. Like, I really love dandelion, cilantro. I do a combo, and I usually will recommend this for everybody. All is dandelion, nettles, horsetail, those three I've been loving. And so I'll recommend that for just cleansing your organs, and then the horsetail is to help regenerate your body as well. So cleanse and regenerate.
Kidneys and the liver.
Yeah, the kidneys and the liver. So yeah, so that's a few. I love turmeric because that's for inflammation. And I don't know, I'm having it's really important is the parasite cleanse. So we all got them. And so it's really important to be on a parasite cleanse with let's see, I like the black one. There's all sorts of different like remedies out there, but I really do like the black walnut, the wormwood, those two that kill the parasites. And then there's a product called, it's Mimosa pudica, and those.
I got that.
Okay, yeah, good. Para one.
Okay.
It's so good, it just takes them right out. And that's like I'm gonna start that pretty soon, because it's been a while, but that's, I feel like, so when my eyesight starts, because we'll get ailments through the parasite. So if we don't keep that, and that, so then that's why, like, I don't have things perfected, but if we were in like a completely heightened place of a high vibrational space, the parasites wouldn't even be able to enter our body. So that's, or any kind of disease or ailment. So
Have you seen that
fun being here too.
Have you seen that device from, I think, World Without Parasites, like Don Croft Zapper? It's like an electrode thing, and it like starts
okay,
blowing up the parasites there. Well, not blowing.
I haven't seen that.
And you, it's like alien out.
Oh no, inside the body. You don't want, you want to get them out.
It just like liquefies them, and then
okay,
a nice non-toxic thing.
Whatever works.
Yeah, and some herbs. Another 2 herbs out there for you guys. is it St. John's wort and hawthornberry? If you combine those, this is like I'm getting into the witchy stuff and the extra witch combos. Different plants, if you combine them together, they like amplify the shit out of each other. So like those two, you combine them together and you like talk to them, work with them. Hey, let's trade. They'll amplify you in your ability to create happiness. It also gets rid of depression.
Yes, that's actually, yes, thank you. Because that's what I actually just had somebody start doing, is like a St. John's wort tea. I couldn't remember. Yeah, so you're like, that was my, I'm like, I know I just told somebody to take one of those herbs and then my mind went blank, but thank you for reminding me that. Yeah. And hawthorn. Yeah, no, that's beautiful. And they do talk to us to help us. So it's really important to connect with the plants. That's why it's important to like when I do tune in with someone, because there might be someone that might resonate with the Ayurvedic herbs more. Those I'm not too familiar with, but I'll do my research. If I know that they're more, they'll work better with Ayurvedic, then I'll look up what they need, or ask a friend that knows Ayurvedic medicine better than me.
Have you heard of anything about like timing? Like, in other words, like anti-parasite at the time of a full moon? Have you ever heard of those type of concepts?
Oh yeah, my mom, yeah, because she's been doing her parasite cleanse on the full moon. So she does. You start 3 days before the full moon.
Because we turn into a wolf, and
yes,
that's the time we get the most parasites. You go out into the woods. Yeah.
Turn into a big larva. No.
Yeah. Like like trekking through the forest as wolves. We gotta watch out for all the parasites we pick up.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So it does matter. But they do come out and in the body. So 3 days before
they breed. They have eggs around them.
Yeah, they have yes, that's right. And you're supposed to feed them with yummy sugar, and then they come out because they're like, ooh, sugar, and then you take those herbs I just mentioned, the black walnut, there's the wormwood, and then what's the other one? There's 3 in a combo, and then the mimosa pudica, and so you take that for 7 days, and they say to do this like that's important to do this indefinite.
Yeah, because even these herbs, they all have a collective consciousness.
Yeah.
They have like libraries of information that they've accumulated. So when you begin to work with them, they begin to work with you. Right. And then there's trading that's going on in the unseen. And then, like what Sean was saying, some work really good with in the right combination with others for something specific, and then you start to tune into more and more of what that could possibly be. So
you get badges and upgrades, and they start more coming to you, and sort of like coming into your mind at night, and like, hey, what this plant? What is that? A name of a plant? What? And you look it up, and it is, and they want to work with you, and then it like builds up your layer of your plant body tech, and there's a bunch more that you get granted access to.
That's exactly. Yeah, and that's because I don't retain information very well. So I have to I don't remember, so I'll have to go look it up. But they do come to me, but like you said, name, but they'll show what they look like.
I've been tuning into memory more, and like, so there's all the like blocks and the circuitry and the energy and the generators and the things that steal it. But I've also been tuning into a large percentage of it, like for people like us, temporal dilation and like the whole amnesia barrier and the wipe of that. It's affecting our memory. It's like, oh my God.
Okay.
What do you do about that? Geez, we got to go into that layer. Okay.
Well, it truly is being in the now. I didn't need to remember that. It's like, I'm in the now, and then I don't yes, it's
they start taking you back on their ship. Oh, we got to do this mission. And then they wipe, and then it's like, oh, that starts affecting you a little bit.
Is that what's going? Okay.
A little bit.
Is that what's going on?
You can like read into it. How much percentage of my memory is affected by that? My memory loss. And then I was like, oh, geez, it's a lot.
Because you're young, so you shouldn't be having memory loss. I mean, I can kind of use older.
Every night I wake up, I feel like I've been somewhere for a while. I'm like, what the fuck did I do yesterday? And it's like,
you mean?
So I think that's the ascension, right?
You can, yeah, sure, if you want to call that. Like there's a lot of definitions for ascension, so I'm like, okay, which one are you meaning?
Oh, the ascension symptom, yeah, of just memory loss. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not, you're not supposed to lose memory from the ascension. The ascension is supposed to be positive stuff. The negative side effects are usually from, that I read into, something trying to prevent you. So it's like the cause is ascension stuff, but like it's the dark side's reaction to trying to prevent and slow us down from ascending. Is like the headaches and the negative consequences and stuff.
Yeah. That
Unless
makes
you get a lot of fucking data coming in, then it's like, a little
which
bit
are linked to
woozy.
the parasites.
Yeah, there's etheric parasites. There's like shit attached to these parasites too.
Yeah, that's exactly. So that's why it's important, because it will clear out, when you do the parasite cleanse, will clear out the brain fog more, create better vision, all of that. I've always had memory since I was a kid, though. I just don't retain. I'm not a good reader either, so I will fall asleep within 2 minutes. Even if it's a book, I'm like, I need to read this. I'm like, oh, I fall asleep.
Yeah, I'm not trying to project on you the cause of your memory loss, but yeah, if you read into like why, like what percentage out of 100 is
I like it.
caused by me being taken other places, it's probably a big number.
Taken, Sean. Read, like, do a mini reading. Let's go.
That's a lot. It's a lot.
It's my friendly reptilian guy.
You want to talk about that?
Well, that'll be another show. But I loved your download last week, though, of that. So that was really powerful, Chris. Yeah, I have a visitor that has come to me that is is she or he, I don't know. I don't know if we,
non-binary reptoid.
Yeah, my non-binary reptilian protector, or another version of me, but it's a good one.
Yeah, it's rare to see that, so it was pretty cool and impressive towards the remedy and helping the planet and the access to knowingness that it has. Oh, and that reminds me, I wanted you, like, because you brought up knowingness as like, oh, that's the big aspect of the Akashic, and I agree. Yeah, what do you see as what do you how would you explain the ability of knowingness, all knowingness, omniscience?
Aren't they all the same?
Yeah, but like in like definitely levels, I'd say.
Okay, so like, I guess I get the all-knowing is like your intuition and tapping into that frequency space, and then a knowing is maybe more just studying and book smart, and that knowing. Are these trick questions?
Well, I just like getting your
can you explain this a little bit better? Knowing, all-knowing, and omniscient. I don't know. I'm gonna say I don't know on that one. Your eyes just got big. Stop it.
I love it's like the trick. Yeah, it's kind of a trick question, I guess.
It's a trick question. No, it's
all knowing.
All knowing.
Yeah,
I'm just all knowing. I know everything, yet I know nothing. That's how I feel, because it's like, how can I tap in and get how do I know, how do I know things about people? I know people more than they know themselves, which can be uncomfortable, for for both parties. No. So, and then I know nothing because I really don't know anything until I'm not here anymore. That's
a good way to put it too. And it's humble brag or whatever. It's like,
it's a humble brag. I know everything, but then I don't know anything because I don't want my ego to get in the way.
Correct answer.
Belief systems and all that. Yeah.
It's like an open cup, and it's like I can still receive more instead of I knew everything.
I know, yes, and it's this because I got this information, and so I really try not to go into that space. But yeah, so the knowing is, yeah, so that's interesting. I love it. It's fun. And I did like I don't know if you guys, so because when I first started really tapping into that space with people, it was an overload, like out in public, out everywhere I went. It was just like I would get really sensitive. And so I have told my guides, like, so I don't want to know about anybody unless I'm in a session. Um, and they've been pretty good with that. Or unless I'm, I have to scan a room for danger, or whatever. I want them to let me know, like, oh, there's a dark one over there in the corner. So, something like that might sound weird. But other than that, I don't want to know about people.
In
When
the
I'm
beginning,
just,
it can be a lot of overwhelm that goes along with the data and emotional influence. So
yeah.
and
And it's it's because before it would all come in and it's like, it's like, uh, it's their personal stuff. So I was like, I don't want to know that. Why is that coming at me? So I had to really create boundaries with, uh, my higher self, their other people's guides, whatever you know,
what is love? Love.
love. Yeah. We always hear that self-love, clear that to like, embrace the self-love. That love is creator, God, source, like that. Like when you can start with this.
Hey, let's all do it.
What is love?
Yeah, that's what it is.
You have to do
Have you
that.
seen Night of the Roxbury, Chris? Any of you? No?
That's
Oh,
old.
okay. That's why that
That's
okay.
Oh,
why.
yeah, a long
I
time.
won't do that one.
Yes, from Saturday Night Live. Yeah.
Okay, then.
Yeah.
I love it. But to me, self-love is that you've cleared your stuff and you've really aligned with creator source and you're in that neutral place and you've dropped into your heart. And that's like truly like what self-love is you just are love because you've achieved raising your frequency through the healing process. So that's love. And when you can feel it too, like when you do clear away those layers um and the positive mantras do work, to reprogram like negative stuff that comes in, that, those like, I am love, I am beautiful, life is amazing. Like you just really, it's important to do that to get to that really neutral place is where love is. So yeah, what is love to you?
Everything. It's like the connection between all things, and it's like if you would imagine a heart in the center of everything, that's also has like a heart underneath it all, that like is the connection between everything, the source. It's the bridging connection, the flow, the full spectrum energy at full maximum vibration, and it can keep going up. And our ability to perceive and sense, and our heart opening of the energy flowing through the universe as this earth flies through whatever amount of miles an hour, whatever, through space, catching that energy and that flow and that opening, we can experience more in the omnipresence, and it interconnected with knowing and greater sense connectivity, and with the oneness, with the all, it a lot of the abilities and perceptions and knowledge, and if you ever touched the golden apples of truth, for even like little bits of a second, it's like, wow,
Mm.
it's like so much makes sense, and then you just come back down. It's like, whoa, it's hard to retain it.
Yeah.
But you get some of it.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. Well,
Hard.
we can get and that's important too, is to to have that love is to go into that, is to find those things that do touch your heart. So like swimming with the dolphins, that's in a higher frequency. Being out in nature, that's the higher frequency, and that will touch you right here in your heart. Holding a little kitten or puppy, something that creates that feeling in the heart, that you're talking about. Yeah. The golden apples,
Yeah,
and
to always
it is important.
yeah,
Sorry.
I was gonna say to always to maybe think about that feeling, like when you have love or joy, and like think about a time you've had love or joy and how that affects your body, and be able to continue to understand that, to radiate it in every cell of your body, so that you don't necessarily have to be in a situation where there's love or joy, but you can understand that this is how our emotional body works. It's like the technology. And if
Right.
we could keep that thought in our mind all the time, let's say I'll use the joy concept, and you could start feeling it, and you get like a tingly sensation, like that's something that should be the focus, and that'll always like keep us like radiating the joy. And then when we're around people, they're like, why is that guy so always so happy? Or, why is that girl always like, always feeling joy? And it's just learning how to use our body technology.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, and that's reprogramming. So that's why it is a tool. So when you have a negative thought come in, then you think of that joyful time and space that you felt that in your heart, and you bring that feeling in, and you dismiss the negative thought.
Get rid of it. Exactly.
Get rid of
Yeah.
it immediately.
Cancel, clear, delete. Get rid of it.
Cancel, clear that. That's what I've taught my kids that for years. Cancel, delete, like no negative speaking. Yeah. So, I like that. And those are good tools. Yeah. To use and to bring, because that's where we all want to be. We want to be in that love, high frequency in the heart space. So, cancel, clear, delete, and then drop down into the heart space, and think of that love, joy place.
Exactly.
Yeah. Beautiful.
So I was going to say, in conclusion, because we've already been talking for a while, next year, 2024, in the Chinese zodiac, do you know what next year is? The year
No.
of the
ox,
the dragon.
the dragon. No. Okay.
Yeah, 2024.
Okay.
Yeah.
I should have known that. Dang it.
Yeah, every 12 years is the year of the dragon. So
Okay.
we've got another one. 2012 was the last one, and now coming up to 2024. So I've got expectations for the start of like good stuff going forward, for that year, especially with the whole dragon concept and all that.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, Jemaa, if I were to say like a dragon, what comes to your mind when you hear the word dragon?
Well, I'm very connected with the dragons, so I have like 8 that are always with me. So I have my mother's spaceship, and then I have 8 dragons. And I feel like I'm a dragon. And I've been told I was a dragon many long time ago, before planet Earth was even formed. In a reading, I think so I had 2. You told me, and then another reading told me. So I have very big connection with dragons. So I feel like I can communicate with them in the other dimensions, and they're powerful. So, and loving. They're actually very loving beings. But they can also be easily captured and like by the dark forces. Like AI can be reprogrammed. Dragons can be. Oh, I love that. Look at that's a fierce dragon, Sean. I'm more pink, and I have like probably some wings. I probably spit out fairy dust,
Right? And rainbows.
And rainbows. I'm your friendly dragon. No, I can be fierce too. But they're very just loving and loyal is what I when I think of the dragons. I actually have a dragon deck, so I have like my oracle cards.
Oh, nice.
So I have my my dragons that, I'll see other people. So so I cover a lot in my sessions too. So I'll see people's dragons, how many they have, how they can work with them. So yeah. How about you? Now, I know you have a connection with dragons, both you guys.
Yeah. So Sean, how would you describe a dragon? What's a dragon in Sean's world?
Managers delegated by planetary consciousness and beyond, like stars. There's a lot of different places they're born, like planets, stars, galaxies beyond. They're old. They're one of the ancient founder races, and they're peak hierarchical order of all elementals combined together, and their ability to demonstrate that. They don't need a body. A lot of them don't demonstrate a body, but are a high level expansion, consciousness, and stability, holding things together. Some will vary souls between stars, celestial dragons, the sun dragons. There's thunder, weather pattern ones, river dragons that hold space for that. Some do have DNA lineage, though a lot of them have been hunted to near extinction. So they're like, a lot of them are in hiding and or in dormancy, hibernation underground, most of them. And then they've spawned dragon families. There's over 4,000 of those in human species. So some of the humans will have their genetics.
Yeah, like even the King Arthur Pendragon family, right? That's kind of like a code for the dragon family lineage, for sure. In certain Chinese families as well.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the King Arthur days. That's a very familiar time and space. I love that era. Yeah.
And I think a lot of people's like, because right now it's like, oh, that's just not real, right? That's just like a story. It's like not historical. But I think that's going to be starting to come back more into people's awareness. Those times that were, I feel, literally taken out, like timeline edited out, so that history has been removed. There's a lot of positive things that happened in that timeline.
Yeah.
I
feel like that's a timeline that's on its way back, actually. We shall see.
Historians just take out anything that is uncomfortable, and they're like, oh, there's a little bit going on there. We don't want to talk about ETs. We don't, just fucking forbidden archaeology. People look into that. There's a lot of good evidence for how stupid the mainstream story is, but go for it.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's definitely a real history for me, like that. And I feel like that was a good time before it went bad, with the round table and King Arthur, and I felt like I read half of Mists of Avalon. So I'm sure a lot of people out there have read the whole book, but I was like, it's probably a happy ending. I don't need to read the other half because it's so long, and took a long time to read just half of it. But then I had friends say, no, it's not a happy ending, Jemaa. So,
I don't know how, I never read the books, but
okay.
Sean, do you think that, the concept of the land of the forgotten?
Yeah.
Do you think those times could have been sent to the land of the forgotten?
Some of them. There's going to be one that is solidified with this timeline you can't get rid of, but there will be, I read, definitely a lot of timeline creations that offshoot that, and then timeline wars that have to do with it, because there's like mythical stuff going on that the dominators right now don't want. Their current goal with the whole fall of Atlantis is steal all the authority and superpowers and abilities from people and spirits involved, reshape the world in their own image and try to dominate it, and then whittle people down to a place of powerlessness so they're controllable batteries, and then they don't wake up. And then their goal is to keep them as perpetual slaves. So they have to destroy the history, our ability to remember, all these aspects that have to be involved in that. But yeah, and so there's a lot of things going in this big hairball about around that time, and I'm not even sure. Like, people like to estimate what the hell time King Arthur period happened. I am not sure at all about like their estimate being accurate, because some of the stuff involved in the story may speak a little bit of older times, but there's a lot of camouflage too, so it's really hard. So we need like a whole team of Akashic record readers to check each other's work on this kind of thing.
Yeah, we do. We
Do
need
it.
to get a group of people together, Jemaa,
Yeah.
that like can read the Akashic records, and we all go into figuring out something out. Like, for example, the King Arthur timeline.
Yeah.
Like, historically, based upon the calendar system that we use now, when is the most likely what actually happened in the timeline that's available to us? And then again, it gets all complicated too, because I mentioned something called the land of the forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you've ever heard of that term before.
I've heard of the term.
Yeah. So the way you could describe it is like on your desktop, you have like a garbage can. So you might have a file that you drop into the trash bin,
Okay.
but it's not quite deleted until you empty the bin. So
Right.
it's almost like the global narrative, like will take a whole storyline or a whole time loop or something and be like, no, that doesn't fit in with our agenda. We're just going to erase you.
Okay.
And then the concept, is it possible for that information to somehow make its way back?
Oh God,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So
Got it. Yes, of
are
course.
there dragons out there that can assist with
Right.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Well, I think we can just go get it. Like,
Yes.
that's how powerful we are. We can, it's nothing. Yeah. Like you said, the land of nothing's ever actually really deleted, because in that trash can, even though we empty it, it goes somewhere.
It goes
Yeah,
somewhere.
there are people that are professionals that can like go into
Yeah,
the
it's
code
not
and
deleted.
get
It didn't
out
just
too.
like, so yeah, like,
Exactly.
but that's another one of our powers, is that we really can go get that information and bring it back. And that's why this great awakening is the last loop, or so important, because there's enough consciousness that we're activated, because all the other loops, there just wasn't enough. There wasn't enough consciousness. And so it was just the darker forces kept winning, keeping us, in that loop. But that's why this has never happened in the history of planet Earth, apparently, that there's enough of us, star seeds, enough of us, that higher vibrational frequency that came in, to hold that space and to gather all of that information and bring it in, the true history of the original timeline.
Exactly. We're all shining our light, so to speak. And it's just like, it's a chain reaction. The more of us that shine our lights, other people see our light shining, and their lights turn on. And exactly. Yeah.
It was so exciting. It's so exciting to see that. It's like, of course, all my feeds are, spiritual, all on the same, speaking my language. It's awesome. I mean, this wasn't happening, 5 years ago, 10 years, it's like, it's really like,
Yeah. So we'll form that group. So like, contact us if you can read the Akashic records, or even like start a little tapping into it, because there's not that many people out there that can do it. So and sometimes they have to like maintain a state. So I understand. But yeah, and we're looking for those people. So Jemaa, how can people reach you?
let's see. I have a website, powerfulalignmentreadings.com. So just go there, and then I'm on Instagram, and but I don't, it's so hard doing all the social media stuff.
You're an
It's like,
Instagram model?
I have yes. No, I can't even I'm like, well, I'm a Scorpio moon, which that is like, so I have this battle, like Scorpio moons want to be hidden, and but I'm an Aquarius, so like I'm a humanitarian, so I'm always having this conflict. I don't really want to get in front of a camera and do videos by myself, like, oh hey, hi everybody out there in like some other land. So but I do have posts on, and it's some, so post on Instagram. I have one video on YouTube, This will be my second video. I
Cool.
love it. Yeah.
Cool.
But that's where you can get
Got any events coming up, or where people can look forward to what you're making?
do I have any events?
Yeah, or things you're going to, or
Um,
adventures?
Yeah, no, it got canceled. So the Shasta event with Laura Eisenhower got canceled. So that was going to be my next big event. But nope, not now. So whatever else pops up. Well, there's going to be a Stargate event in Vegas in November. That Laura will be speaking at. So that'll be fun at the Luxor. So anybody that's like a star seed that resonates with the galactic and transforming the darker energies, because that's what the whole convention is like transforming the dark energy that's in Vegas to the light.
Quite a task.
Yeah.
At the Luxor, which is the pyramid. And I've always been called to Vegas for many years now. And I do a lot of energy work there. So we didn't even touch on ley lines on planet Earth, but there's a lot of ley lines that I clear out. And I know many other people work with ley lines as well. I'm sure you do. You guys do.
And the transformation of them to the dragon lines.
Yes, yeah,
Similar concept.
exactly. They are definitely linked to my dragons. So my dragons work with me, specifically in the area that I'm at. I'm in actually a really intense kind of old area where like back in the 30s or something like that, 1930, the cabin I live in was built, but it was all the elites came to this area, and so they would have parties actually in the cabin I live in. So I do a lot of anyways, yeah. So it's dark, yeah, it's very dark stuff, but it's also there's a lot of light here, and so wherever I'm called, that's where I go and transform those energies. And the trees help me, the redwoods. So yeah, it's a lot. It's fun for me. It's fun because it doesn't scare me.
Have you made a wand with the redwood at all?
No, I haven't made a fairy wand. I haven't like a long time ago, but I haven't recently like a crystal fairy wand. It's been a long time.
Okay.
That's a good idea. Yeah,
that would be powerful.
Yeah.
Chris, how do people reach you?
People can find me at quantumbusinessman.com or on YouTube on the channel called Quantum Businessman. You can send me an email to chris@quantumbusinessman.com. Sean, what about you? How can people find you?
Yeah, you can reach me on sonicleague.com, Sonic League YouTube, also on Facebook, Sean Bond, on Instagram, sonicleague@gmail.com. Got a bunch of products on my site, free membership for teaching abilities. We're gonna do meditations in the future, events. It'll be fun. Yeah, we may hang out with you guys in Las Vegas. So
Yeah, it'll be fun. Well, and you guys are going somewhere, right?
Yeah, we're going to Ireland in July.
Oh, yeah.
And possibly the Galactic and Spiritual Informers Conference in Orlando in October.
Okay.
And then that event you mentioned in what was the month?
November.
Boy, we have
Awesome.
a schedule. And then Sean and I are going on this cruise with Masajati, who was on our last podcast, to Tahiti.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So
fun.
It's a pretty full schedule.
That's a seriously full schedule. I love it.
Yeah.
Good.
Did I miss anything, Sean?
Well, like,
you want to book another
Mars.
trip?
Well, you just forgot to mention Mars. No,
but
yeah, we're gonna take you all there. So
we'll go the easy way, jump room.
Yeah, the easy way.
Yeah.
I love it. See, that's the way I want to travel. It's just get into the jump room and then we'll go.
Yeah. So yeah, everyone out there, share this as much as you can. If you want to see more of this, leave in the comments if you love our guest, show her some love, and smash that like button, click the notification bell, and yeah, like again, share as much as you can. If you want to see more of this content, it will inspire us.
Yes.
Thank you for what you do. Help the world, help the hush out the fires, quench the fires of knowledge through your your attainment and ever evolving journey and pursuit. So
Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate being here. You guys are amazing. And so much love to everybody out there.
Yes, and for everyone that stayed to the end, thank you very much.
I don't even know how long we've been in a vortex for
We've
sure.
been looping. We've done this show many times.
Looping.
We finally got it right.
Woo!
All right, everybody. Take care.
Okay.